Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video, we are going to talk about AI agents. So basically, what is an AI agent? And then in upcoming videos, we'll be discussing what are the different types and how to develop those using LangGraph and other agent development framework that we have, right? So this will be a series of videos, but I'll try to keep this very simple in terms of theory and then more in terms of implementation, and we'll try to explain things in very simple language, right? So let's get started. So first thing comes is what is an AI agent, right? And if you look into Google for a definition, it says an AI agent is an agent that perceives its environment, makes independent decisions, and uses tools to accomplish a multi-step task. Okay, so before we discuss this part, let's go and understand what is the difference between a standard chatbot and an AI agent, right? And if I'm saying standard chatbot, it can be an LLM. You can take an example of LLM, right? So what happens in case of LLM? They simply take request and reply with the text, right? And the conversation end. Where if we talk about an AI agent, what happens? It based on user request, it takes some actions and then keeps on uh, repeating the task till that task is complete, right? So it can do some sort of task than simply replying to your questions with an answer, right? Now, coming back to this, so basically I'll not go to this word to word definition, but you can say like once a user sends a request, an agent has different component, and we'll be covering in next session. So an agent brain analyzes that request and then it sorts a plan that okay, to complete this particular request, I need to take these actions, right? So that's the first step, right? So it analyzes and plans, and then it acts on that, right? So acts as in it will perform actions to complete the task. At the end, it will evaluate that okay, whether the user's request is met or not. And then if that is met, then that's fine, the task is done. Otherwise, it will repeat the same cycle again, right? So this is on and all it is in the definition, but I have tried to explain it in a simpler word. Moving on, so if we talk about key component of an AI agent, there are four key component of an AI agent. One is, and the most important one is brain, right? So here it comes our large language model, right? So any language model like you've heard, GPT, Claude, uh, Claude's Claude models. Then we have Mistral AI, Gemini, and all, right? So those LLMs become the brain of this AI agent, right? So that brain helps it analyze the request and plan the request, right? Now, next thing is memory, right? So when we are executing the task, we need to know or we need to have a memory or uh, data or information from the past, right? So that we can again evaluate that, okay, let's say what user has requested and what actions I have planned, right? So memory basically saves past interactions and then that helps AI agent to take next step forward, right? So that's what the memory does. And again, as I mentioned, I'm trying to keep it very simple so that you can understand. And then once we implement, we'll try to relate or connect these things with our code or real implementation, right? Like how does that work in real time, right? So there can be, so I mean, I don't want to diverse the topic, but I'll give you some understanding. So there are two types of memory that can be. One is short-term memory and then long-term memory. Short-term memory, I'm not sure if you've heard, but it is mainly implemented via state, which is a sort of dictionary. And I can say if you understand Python or JSON, so that has key and value pairs, right? So we'll talk about that in detail, but for now you can understand that, okay, memory is a component of AI agent, right? Next is tool. So tool is basically helps user to perform some actions, right? So tool can be an API, right? So let's say if I have an agent which is responsible for booking flights for me, that will have a tool which will eventually have an API that connects to a website for me to book that flight, right? So that can be, let's say, Indigo or any flight website API to which it will connect, and then it will basically does the job, right? And then another example can be database. So let's say we're talking about a company, right? And then we asked some sort of AI, I mean, some sort of actions. Let's say, for example, we say that, okay, I have to present something to my client, and then I want presentation to be made by AI agent, and then that agent should look into the database to find relevant information and then do that, right? So there has to be a tool that gives access to our agent to basically connect to the database and then fetch the information from there, right? So these are some examples of tools. Next is autonomy, and this is again very important component where our agent can take actions without any user or human intervention. So it's like, so earlier I had mentioned, right? So there are three phases. It plans, it acts, and it evaluates the output, and then based on that, if it checks if the task is done or not, otherwise it will keep doing that, right? So this is what an autonomy is. So you don't need and human intervention in between. Obviously, we can have, because if when we make an agent which is fully autonomous, we're not sure about its credibility, right? As of now, and also like it is good to have that as well, because you will need one human intervention or one human review before it says that okay, this is the final outcome, right? So it is always good to have. So I think these are the main component of any AI agent that you're going to build, right? And then, as I mentioned earlier, when we are talking about implementation, we'll try to connect these dots. Just remember that the four things I've spoken about: one is brain, second is memory, third is tool, and autonomy, right? Let's move on. So I think this is the overall way how AI agent works, and I have already explained this in detail, so I'll not give more time in this, but it's like you have three things under AI agent. Based on user requests, it plans, it acts, it checks whether the task is done, and if that is not done, then repeat this process or loop until the job is done, right? So I hope I've made some sense, and then you've got some understanding on how AI agent work, what are the major components, and I think I wanted to give a brief idea about AI agent in this, but then in upcoming videos, we'll be seeing what are the different types of agents, and then how each type of agent works, or how do you use those. And then we'll also start seeing the implementation of those with LangGraph, which is one of the most popular framework available right now, and that gives you flexibility to sort of make or design, I would say, these AI agents as you want, right? So that part we'll be covering so in upcoming videos. So that's why I'd say that you can subscribe my channel. And then if you have any questions or any comments related to this topic or any other topic, you can post in comment. I'll try to reply. And then if you want me to cover any other topic specifically, you can drop a comment as well, right? So I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.